What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and in front of me I have the brand new Ghost Rider Mech and Bike Lego set, and we're going to do a quick review of it. This set contains 264 pieces. It comes with 1 minifigure, and it retails for $35 US. Let's start by taking a closer look at that minifigure. Alright, so this is the Ghost Rider minifigure that is included in this set. And you can see he's got a pretty nice torso print here with some kind of flame and fire accents right there at the neck, and then he's also got a chain that's going across him, and that is a metallic chain. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any leg printing, and he also does not have any arm printing, but that nice torso print does continue around the back, and you can see that there is that continuation of that chain printing right there as well. The face is pretty special too. You can see it's a white minifigure head with kind of a skeletal base print on it, and then it's got this flame hair piece that's actually attached to the minifigure head. You cannot remove that. That is just on there permanently. It's not like a hair piece or anything like that. So if you haven't seen that piece before, it is all one piece. It's not a hair piece at all. And the minifigure looks pretty solid. I think it's probably the second best Ghost Rider that we've gotten. The first one that we got, quite a few years ago now, is definitely the best in my opinion, followed by this one. And then we got the one from, what was it, 2 years ago, 2021. That was probably in third place for me. But this one looks pretty good. I wish it just had a little bit more detail to it. So this is everything that comes in this set, and I wanted to leave the Ghost Rider minifigure right here so you can get an idea of scale, because this is considerably bigger than a regular minifigure because it's kind of at this mech scale over here. I also wanted to point out that Ghost Rider also comes with an accessory that is this kind of chain piece with a little piece put on the end there, which is kind of classic to what he has in the comics. I'm going to go ahead and load up Ghost Rider into the mech, and we'll take a closer look at the mech first. So here is the Ghost Rider mech, and to point out the elephant in the room, if you would, this little clip right here is a clip. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, so that Ghost Rider can clip right onto here, onto the bike, and that's actually how the mech stays in place, is by clipping it in like that onto this bike. But overall here, just going back to the mech here, all jokes aside, he looks decent. You can see it uses 4 of these newish prefabricated joint pieces. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like the stability that they bring to the model. If you've used these mechs before, they're notorious for just kind of falling over or bending in the knees, and you really don't get that in this. And well, that's simply because these do not bend at all. It's just one big prefabricated piece, and you can just see how big that piece is. It's all that orange that you're seeing right there. The feet do move independently though, and it also moves up here at the top of the hip on its own as well, but you are stuck in that position, and that's definitely one thing I wanted to point out, because it kind of makes him always look like he's just bending forward a little bit. The knees are just always bent forward. Even if you're trying to get him to stand up straight, he's just always going to be in this sort of bent forward position. I mean, you can move them back a little bit, you can move them forward, it'll make it worse. His knees are just always going to be bent like that. Same thing in the hands. I don't mind it as much in the arms though, because again, you can't move this joint here, but it does bring a little bit of stability. You can move them up here on the shoulders just like that, and the hands itself aren't using any sort of ball joint, so the hands do not move, only the shoulder does. And then it has these newer pieces here that they use for the fingers, and those look pretty good. They have 3 of them on this side, and then they have the little thumb right there as well. The name of the game here is prefabricated pieces. Unfortunately, you can see if I can open this up like that, there you go, you can see it better now. This entire kind of main part of the torso here, this is all one large piece, and then it has just a few pieces coming off the side of it, as well as when I flip this up, you can see this is all one large piece here too. That newer style allows them to be fully sitting down inside of the mechs, and it does just give the mech more stability, but unfortunately, for me at least, it takes away from that overall building experience. I did also want to point out really quickly that this does rotate all the way totally around 180 degrees here at the hip, as well as there's a one of the newer kind of mixel style pieces there that has the ball joint coming out both sides to help answer that question of, the old ones had one offset and one on top of each other. That's fixed there using that piece. There is some kind of nice spiked details here on the knees as well as on the shoulders to just give it a little bit more flavor and a little bit more detail. Let's check out the bike. So this is the main build, or the additional part of this set that gives it almost another $20 worth of value. I do want to point out from the get-go that this is a print, which is definitely nice to see. Let's start just kind of up here in this area. You can see the handlebars do move in and out. This is that newer or newish kind of candle piece in the pearl silver, or that silverish color from Lego. It's also worth noting that you can move this up and down, you can move this in and out as well to just kind of reposition it as needed. I do also want to point out that the front of this does not move. You can see there's a little bit of wiggle there, but that's just the Technic pieces, wiggling around because they're not, in there like a brick. So you can't actually move the front of the chopper at all. It is stuck in this position. They did manage to kind of capture some nice details here along the side of it to kind of build the engine block, and then down here to get out all the way to the exhaust, where they've used these larger flame pieces to kind of show the chopper burning out or spinning out and just give it a little bit more excitement to it. This portion back here does open up just a little bit. That's not necessarily intentional, that's just so that they can get that angle using that clip. And then the other side of this build is mirrored. Again, some nice details here along the side of it as well as for the engine block. And as I pointed out earlier, you can see that the feet will stick right here, and that you can actually use this clip right there on Ghost Rider to go ahead and clip the mech into the bike right there, and then that allows you to pose him on it without having him fall off, or it just definitely makes him easier to pose on here, which is nice. You can take his hands and you can put them up there, and then you can kind of put the fingers around the handlebars. I do also want to point out that he is really stuck in this position. It kind of makes it look like he's looking up and not forward, which is unfortunate. Just because of the way that this is built, you can't actually rotate him forward. He is stuck there like that. And really that is this set. So let's go ahead and get over to the Grinch's Guide and we'll wrap up this review. So bringing this review to a close here, I'm really not a huge fan of this set, to be honest. From a building experience, it's nothing special, and unfortunately the mech portion, a lot of that is taken away from the prefabricated pieces that they have. I mean, it's almost a shame. This is a 6+ set, but it feels more like a 4+ set just because of all the kind of larger fabricated pieces that they have. But it also gives it a lot more stability. So if you are really like a fan of the mechs, that part is nice. They're much more stable. You could actually play with it now, but from a building experience, a lot has been taken away, and it's just another Marvel comic Lego set with an oversized vehicle. From a build or display and play point of view, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's definitely not a display piece, and from a play perspective, it is more stable, so you can play with it better, but then you sacrifice the actual ability to move it and play around with the joints and get different poses on it. So you're sacrificing that for stability, and it does definitely kind of take away from that play aspect in one regard and add to it in another. But for me personally, I just it's just kind of a big chopper. There's really not much to do here with this set. From a minifigure perspective, I'm gonna have to give it a 4 out of 5. That Ghost Rider is solid. I love that flame and head piece kind of molded together like that. The torso print is nice. It's nothing exquisite. We've had a Ghost Rider before, so it's not like this is the first one that we've seen, and it's just a solid minifigure. And then from a value perspective, I have to give this set a 2 out of 5. I just don't see it. Really, it's just a $35 mech with an oversized motorcycle. Honestly, at $30, I wouldn't want to buy this. Maybe at $25. It's just not a great set unless you are a fan of the mechs, or unless you're a fan of just oversized vehicle in general. But I just really don't like it. And from a price-wise, it just kind of feels like they just added this big motorcycle. It's not even minifigure scale, it's mech scale, so you don't want to display it. It's really just kind of meant for a younger target audience, which isn't me. So from a value perspective, I definitely have to give this a 2 out of 5. It just doesn't feel like a good $35 spent. Overall, that brings this set to 2.75 out of 5. As you can tell, I'm not really a huge fan of this set. Really, honestly, the only reason I personally got it was because I collect all the Marvel sets, so I'm just that sucker, as well as to get all the minifigures too. And I think that's probably a lot of the reason why people are going to buy this, is because they want a Ghost Rider minifigure, or they just want to be able to have all the Marvel sets. And honestly, it's just a set that you buy to check the box in that regard. So for me, just kind of a very forgettable Marvel set overall. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and joining in the conversation in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.